my name's Bryan. This is going to be probably the opposite of the most inspiring talk you've ever heard in your life. So hi. By show of hands, how many of you have actually heard of Foot Cardigan at all? Way more than I thought. Yes. So that also means that those of you who raised your hands will know how weird this might actually get and how awkward this could be, because that's kind of that's what we do. So we operate a little differently as a company. So we are a sock subscription company. We like feet a lot. And weirdly enough, when we started Foot Cardigan, I had no idea how really awkward it would be in the office when we were trying on shoes and we're touching each other's feet, and I just really didn't think through that one. So this might get weird. Oh gosh, Mom. No, I'm wearing some cactus socks, because that's what's in right now. So here's the deal. This might get weird. Remember how Paul was saying, you guys are taking pictures of the screens? I better see some phones out. My wife is actually here as well. She's our content manager, and she's just really embarrassed right now. But this is what we do, and I guess we're kind of breaking the segment of the subscription summit up by saying we've entered the customer experience segment. And one of the things we did when we started Foot Cardigan was we wanted to take a very interesting approach to this. We didn't have time, and I'll get to this in a second. We didn't have time to be anything who we weren't. Me and my co-founders, among us, we have wives and 10 kids. And so building a business is hey, we don't have time to try to, I'm not going to start a tuxedo company. I don't even own a suit. I'm dead serious. It's really embarrassing as well. But this is kind of how we roll. We decided at the beginning that the way we approach the customer, and the reason I call this customer Schmustomer is because we don't actually look at them as customers. We wanted to create a business where our people, the people who purchase from us, they're our friends. They're our family. And wanted to kind of take that approach to how we do things. And with that, there's family drama for sure. We've got all that stuff. So the one thing that we started was, like most of you, when we started Foot Cardigan, how do you sell something to someone if they don't even know it exists? And our answer to that was kind of, again, going back to everything's about the customer. When everything that we do caters to the customer that we want. Foot Cardigan is not for everyone. We do have competitors, other sock subscriptions that are out there. They do something different than us. We are a very unique brand in ourselves, and we want people who want to be a part of that brand. So here's a list of things, because all talks have lists. BAE. I made up acronyms too, which is really weird. So business as an extension. And so like I said, business as an extension of who you are as a person. It doesn't make sense for me as a person. I wear a hat all the time. I'm going to be very real with you. I didn't even take a shower this morning. So we're just very transparent, and that's the brand we wanted to create because we wanted to be able to walk into the office every day and not have to change who we were to kind of become this thing, right? Does that make sense? Hey, look. I cannot guarantee that'll be the last time that you see this, so pictures up, please, get the pictures out. And so besides being a world-class model, when we started this company, it was all about the customer we want, how do we want to get them, how do we want to attract them. But it really goes back to the thing that you're really selling. We aren't selling socks. We don't sell socks. We do, that's kind of weird not to say, but we're selling an experience, as are a lot of you guys. For us, the experience could be hey, part of Liz's pitch earlier or deck, 8% is the mystery, right? We're the 8%. We're the mystery box. You don't get to choose the socks you get. They come kind of random to you. I think because of our price point being socks, we have the ability to kind of create kind of a mystery product that people have this threshold that they're willing to spend a lesser amount to get a surprise in their mailbox. But also, I think with mystery, the great thing about that is that, as we all know, and we're all here, we all started our businesses and want to start the businesses because no one gets fun mail anymore. You know what you're ordering from Amazon. You know what's coming in the mail. And so I often equate Foot Cardigan to the adult version of a gumball machine. You really want that red gumball, and you put your quarter in, except for us, it's like $12. But you put the quarter in, and you turn it, and then you get a purple one, and you're like, damn it! But you're still really happy because it's grape, right? So that's kind of how I kind of equate foot cardigan. So find out the thing that you're really, so what are you really selling? We're not selling socks. We're selling this fun experience of getting something and kind of treat yourself, as my friend Tom Haverford would say. I think with everything, there's always like risk involved. The glass is half risk. If you know me, you know that I'm the most optimistic person you've ever met in your life. There's never anything bad that happens, which is wonderful to live your life that way. And then just like overflowing with risk, like there's just, I think if you want to succeed in this industry and in the subscription industry, you're going to have to take a lot of risks. They can be calculated. I think we've learned a lot about data today, which just makes my brain explode because I'm not really the person on the team that knows about data. So the other thing that, one of the other mantras that we kind of have is kind of look up and not over your shoulder. When it talks about competition, look, we're like everybody in this room, I kind of feel like it's like extended family because we all kind of do the same thing. We all have subscription businesses and we want this industry to succeed because if the whole succeeds, each one of us succeeds, right? And so I actually welcome our other sock subscription competitors, as long as they don't try to like blatantly copy us, because that's just really annoying and rude. But otherwise, like I want them to do their thing. We'll do our thing. There's plenty of feet in the world to cover, and we'll get it taken care of. So when I say look up and not over your shoulder, one of the things I'm thinking of is like I don't really, sometimes when we think of marketing, we think of going to get customers and acquiring customers. What kinds of fun things can we do to do that? And I don't really like looking at what other subscription companies are doing. And so I looked, so this is one example of one of the things we did. In 2008, a couple guys with a small startup called Airbnb created these. I'm not kidding. If you didn't know the story, this is real. They needed some funding. And so they're designers, and so the 2012 election, or 2008 election, they designed these cereal boxes, just poured a bunch of Cheerios and Captain Crunch in them, sold them for like $40 a pop and like raised like $30,000 or $40,000, right? And so the great thing is when we launched our company in 2012, we were like, it's also an election year. And so we created these kind of 16-bit, 8-bit pixelated versions of Romney and Obama socks. This was kind of our first, like when we talk about risk, this was really the first risk we took. And as you guys know, like, when you wholesale someone else's product, it's a lot more expensive than manufacturing it yourself, most of the time, or it should be at least. So we took a big risk and we said, we're gonna do this thing. We're gonna kind of put out this thing to our customers, see if they like it. We were really small at the time, but this was the first custom socks we ever made, and we had to order a certain amount, minimum order quantities, and because of this, people were attracted to foot cardigan. People said, this is really weird with these potential candidates on these feet. And we actually got a bunch of congressmen and senators to wear them because Obama's from Chicago, the Chicago Tribune picked it up, Politico picked it up, a bunch of outlets picked it up, and we did really well, although we actually still have about 500 pairs of Romney socks left. Come tell me your address after and I'll send them all to you. So the other thing that we like to do a lot of things that are different. And like, orange is the new black, like blank is the new blank. So I decided to be super cliche-y, and abnormal is the new normal. So this is a company in Dallas. It's an air conditioning company. And I actually just found out, I did this, I had a similar talk a couple months ago, and someone in Dallas was like, actually, they just went out of business. So apparently it didn't work that great. No, but we have a home, and I don't really do air conditioning things, and so it's this memorable thing. Like, how are you gonna stick out? How are you gonna be memorable? And so when I drive down the highway and I see this billboard, and I'm like, that's really funny. If I ever need an air conditioning problem, I'm just gonna think of them. Like, oh, who's the company who did Your Wife Is Hot and actually trademarked it, which is also more bizarre. So it's just doing this memorable thing. Like for an air conditioning company to say like, your wife is hot, that's pretty funny. Like air conditioning companies, I don't know historically that they've been like the funniest, most humorous companies. So I'm super proud of them, really. Good for them for going out of business. Okay. So this happened about a year and a half ago. We were on Shark Tank. I know that wasn't me just being like, hey, drop the mic, Shark Tank, what up? To be honest, because it was it was a great experience, but it was also very, very bizarre. But when we talked about like how we wanted to present ourselves on the show, how do you show socks? I don't want to walk out there in cargo shorts. Like, first of all, who wears cargo shorts? Second of all, like, what do we do here, right? So Matt and I went to a tailor and said, hey, I promise we're not strippers, but we need to make custom tearaway pants. Because I'm sure you get a ton of requests there. And so we actually made custom tearaway pants. And the whole process here, and the reason I'm explaining this to you is because when we went on Shark Tank, while the goal was to get an investor, and we were fortunate enough to receive a couple sharks or whatever, the goal is really, we were told this by some friends, the quicker you can get to evaluation and agree on a thing, like what you're really doing is like, remember you're gonna be in front of 10 million people. And they're gonna see this, and how do you present yourself, and who is the customer that you want to get? And we wanted the customers who appreciated that we ripped off our pants on national television, that we had the balls to do that. Oh, sorry, that was so rude. I shouldn't have said balls. Okay, so also, I'm not joking. We were legally required to wear 3 layers of underwear, just in case, right? So anyway, so being different, sticking out, and like all what Cardigan does. I'm just gonna let this play for the rest of this talk. All what Cardigan does is we have this target customer in mind. We know who we want. Like, if you don't want to be our customer, you're not gonna have a great time. And that's okay. Maybe that's not you. Like, we want people who get us because then we get them. We get them. Cards Against Humanity's, I think, does such a good job at this. On Black Friday a couple years ago, on Black Friday a couple years ago, they had this deal that was like, everybody's giving discounts on Black Friday. We're going to charge more. F it. And they did. And so here's the chart. So you can see on the far right, they actually had a better Black Friday, but more interestingly, it was the day after Black Friday. People were like, forget that. I'm going back to the site and getting it for normal price, thinking they were getting such a good deal and they had such a great experience there. So just doing things different, getting the customers that you really want to be your customer. Not everybody has to be your customer. Like, there are a lot of people with feet in this world. And I want all of them to wear our socks. Don't get me wrong. I want all of them to wear our socks. But it's okay if they don't want to. You can't force someone to like your product. And I think as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as people who work in businesses, I think a lot of the time when we first started, I was so offended. Anybody, that's a stupid sock. That's dumb. Why did you put a monkey pooping on socks? Which actually happened, and now I really do regret that at this point in life. But that's just who we are, and we don't want to change who we are to be someone who we're not, and who our customers don't want us to be, and it's really key to remember that. Here's another acronym I made up. DABS, like the thing all the kids are doing, right? So for the customer, like don't always be selling. I send emails, personal emails, and sometimes people think it's not actually from me, but I give them my email address. I send them to our massive email list, and it's just like, hey, let's just have a conversation. So I remember I was sick. I had like the flu or something. And we sent out an email from me, and I knew I was going to be in bed for like 2 days. And so I was like, I might as well answer emails. So I sent an email. I said, here's my email address. Let's just talk about life. Let's talk about what Harry Potter house you are. Let's talk about, and so I had people from like Switzerland being like, hey, I live in this small town. I'm not joking, and I didn't know anything about Switzerland. Like, I live in this small town. Like, what should I do for a date night? I'm like, this is what I'm talking about, right? Like, so when we say that we don't really view the customer as a customer, it's not a transaction, it's a relationship, right? And I have a slide that says that because that's such a deep slide. That's such a deep, deep meaning. So, oh gosh, what did I just do, guys? There we go, okay. The customer experience for us, and I know for a lot of people in this room, is literally everything. We pride ourselves in having these really interesting customers who email us and say, hey, could you put a picture of a dragon in my socks this month? Sure. So I go to our director and I'm like, hey, can you draw a picture of a dragon? What for? Just do it. Just do it, we'll put it in there. So we do. So I'm gonna tell you the story, the legend of Toe Dick. Get your mind out of the gutter, people. So we had this customer a couple years ago. I see my wife shaking her head, and this is just I'm so sorry. So the legend of Toe Dick, this guy emailed, we were on Twitter, and this was a couple years ago, and I was at my house, we had this like newborn kid. It was my kid, it wasn't just random like newborn hanging out. And so I was talking with this guy on Twitter, and he was like, oh, I wonder if Cardigan makes socks for Toe Dick. And I'm like, sure, of course we do. Sure, happy. And they were like laughing, they're like, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. He's like, no. My name's Richard, and I have an amputated toe. And so we called him Toe Dick. My amputated toe is Toe Dick. And he has his own Twitter account with like 1,000 followers. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But then I had this idea. I was like, you know what? How can I do something for Mr. Toe Dick? And so I called my customer service team. I said, don't send out his package yet. And so I went home, and I found a couple extra pairs of socks. I cut them up, and I made little tiny socks. By hand. I sewed these by hand. I dropped them in the mailbox with his order, and I probably can connect that one thing that we did for the customer experience to probably 30 subsequent orders, just because I took 10 minutes to cut up these socks and to do this. So I saw this really interesting definition of marketing on the internet, because everything on the internet is true. Everybody knows that. But it's my favorite definition I've seen. Marketing is the study and management of exchange relationships. And I think customers, like, no longer, especially in the subscription industry, right, we have this very unique product that we have people coming back every month and every month. Not every business has that, but we have this very unique audience. They come back every month, they recur every month, they get a box every month or every quarter. We have this really interesting ability to connect with them so frequently. And so I think now customers desire and demand more of an emotional connection with the people they're buying from, not just, here's my money, take it. I want to interact with you. I want to have an experience with you. They want transparency. And details really, really, really matter. From dropping a picture of a dragon or the French Prince of Bel-Air, that was a request once, to we sent a girl, she called us, we don't have a phone, just kidding. She emailed us and said, hey, I want to cancel my subscription. My boyfriend broke up with me and I had a subscription for him. We said, fuck that guy. And so I think we really said that. And so we moved her subscription, or his subscription to her, and then we sent her flowers and said, sorry he was such a dick. And like she just thought that was crazy that the sock company did that for her. So when there is a real relationship, customers will sell for you. And it has to be genuine. Someone said that earlier today. And here's just a smattering of things that people have said about us. Like I just picked a bunch of random ones. Someone wanted us to have Ken Bone be a new spokesperson. People think we're great, which is awesome, and I love it. But more importantly, like they feel like they're a family. They feel like they're a part of something. And we all, I think everybody in this room wants to feel a part of something, whether that is part of a sock subscription company community, a part of a beauty box community, a part of the MSA insiders who like love like all the insider information they can get, right? So building this community, and this thing is over. So thank you for paying attention. Thank you.